This afternoon, pressure group Arise Ghana intensifies calls for immediate extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, whose case has now been adjourned to the 27th of April. Also this hour, Majority Caucus rejects calls by minority for the removal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa over what they claim is his repeated diplomatic missteps. Plus, Greater Accra Regional Minister assures traders who lost their shops through Tuesday's inferno that government will come to their aid. It's News Central live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano. The news starts right now. Ghana's embattled former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will get to know his fate over attempts to extradite him to Ghana by April 27th later this year. Ofori-Atta appeared before a United States immigration court in Virginia on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, as proceedings continue over his immigration status. The hearing followed his detention in the U.S. after Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested him on January 6, 2026. State attorneys argued during the hearing that Ofori-Atta should not be granted bail because Ghana has submitted an extradition request for him. In his ruling, Judge David Garde declined to make any immediate determination on the extradition claim, noting that no documentary evidence had been presented to support the assertion. U.S. authorities are arguing that the former finance minister no longer has lawful status to remain in the country after the revocation of his visitor visa. During the proceedings at the Annandale Immigration Court, counsel for Ofori-Atta requested that both the bond hearing and the related master calendar hearing be closed to the public, citing the sensitive nature of issues expected to be raised. Ken Ofori-Atta is currently a wanted man in Ghana after being charged with multiple criminal offenses by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. John Quayson is the constitution lawyer who has keenly followed this matter. Counsel, I appreciate your time this afternoon. I do want to start from the call by the former finance minister's lawyers for the hearings to be in private, citing sensitive issues. But when we compare that to the fact that this is a public figure, a former finance minister of our country, is there really justification for this case to be private?
Okay, so let me begin. First off, it was the right and the lawyers of honorable candidate. Of course, if your client is in detention or remand, the first thing is to take a step and apply for bail for him. But then, contemporaneously, and then advantageously to kind of rare testing, even if the lawyers are not aware, I dare say that the development yesterday was actually a big victory for Honorable Ofori-Atta and his entire team. Let me explain. Ghana and our authorities will not be happy, okay, because they want the actions in Ghana to be expedited. Unfortunately, so each day that passes by is a lose, or let's say a loss for our country. Now it's already 2 years is unfolded. Okay, he is not going to appear in court until 27. That is May, almost half of the year gone. And then they are now going to take some other steps procedurally. When we spoke the last time, I was like, he didn't stand the chance because it had to do with deportation. So they should be jubilating now that the element of the extradition has also reared its ugly head. which indirectly has come to embolden or strengthen his stay in the U.S. Our authorities back home were playing against all odds that the deportation order will carry through. By coincidence and by circumstances, the prosecution in U.S. rather opposed the bail application. And in law, the procedure is as good as the substance of the case. So procedurally, okay, it has prolonged the case. And the longer he stays there...
I see. Now Judge Gadi is asking for state prosecutors to present documentary evidence of this extradition. How do you see this playing out in court, perhaps on April 27th, maybe, if not called earlier?
That's what, actually, they gave them 1 month. And that's what I'm saying. In court, anything can happen. The least development could trigger a prolonged period. Everything would have been determined yesterday. Do you get it? But then there was an objection from the prosecution. And then that objection, nobody anticipated that. And that is where it is leading us to. Maybe some people would have weighed that the objection could have been stayed for a day or two. But you see, U.S. today have more people, and this was an immigration court. So the judge said, okay, I don't base ruling or orders on assertions. I need the evidence. So if you say the government of Ghana have put in a requisition for extradition, there's nothing before me. Then produce that document, and then I'll peruse it. And by so doing, it has prolonged the period. And that is, for my analysis, Ghana government has lost big time.
I see.
Yeah, because he's not coming anytime soon.
I see.
At least we are aware that half of the year is already gone. So 1.5 years gone. You get it? Almost 2 years since the OSP started this procedure. And you know, our court system too, when he's here, it's going to take another 2 years or something. By which time, maybe a new government or whatever, the JM will not be there.
But it's due process we are looking for, isn't it?
Exactly so. But we Ghanaians didn't want it that way. They wanted him brought here. And then whichever way they wanted to deal with him. And I can assure you, most of the procedures in Ghana would have been truncated and fast-tracked. Because he's been in the queue for a very long time. So as it exists now, it's a huge and big victory for Ofori-Atta and his team. By accident.
I see. So counsel, just before we go, for future cases, which counsel for the former finance minister have asked and indeed been granted that it be in camera, should public interest, and by public, the Ghanaian people's interest in the case supersede the privacy Ken Ofori-Atta is seeking?
Yes, you see, they would have wished that the case even went on without him. But you see, it's not always that you can prosecute in the absence of the person. If the person is here, there are some strenuous variables, some additional questions that he himself is the only one who can answer. Maybe there are so many properties they feel have gone to him. You say they can't base on hearsays. So they needed his presence here so that they asked, this building, is it for you? This car, is it for you? You get it? And then they can see which ones they could retrieve and then which ones they couldn't.
Very well, lawyer. We'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much. John Kwesi is a constitution lawyer. We will stay on this subject because back home here in Accra, pressure continues to mount for the return of the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Ghana protests at the U.S. Embassy in Accra as protesters continue to mount pressure on authorities to expedite the return of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, security has been beefed up with more police visibility and barricades to prevent a crossover or spillover towards the interior of the embassy.
Bring back Ken! 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 America! Bring back Ken! America!
Let's now bring you some live pictures from there. Christian Yale is our man on the ground. Christian, what is happening now?
In fact, Kamini, just a few minutes ago, the protesters crossed the road from where they are standing right now. They crossed the barricades to approach the frontage of the U.S. Embassy. When that happened, we saw the police begin to form a human wall to prevent them from entering. But let me try to cross over right now from this side of the road to join the protesters on the other side where they are protesting this afternoon, because then we need to get some live reactions from them as to what exactly they want done, also following all that transpired yesterday in court. And so you realize that today there are more protesters who have come here. Unlike what we witnessed yesterday, there are more who are not even in the customed or customized t-shirt that are being worn by most of the Arise Ghana protesters themselves. There are many here who are not in uniforms. Let me briefly engage one of them. What about joining protest with Mope said, Yere Ken Ofori-Atta babak.
Oh, sir, somebody no. You didn't need problem. Or your gun and your umbrella number no.
So they want Ken back to come to respond to some questions. Come in here, and I can also tell you that there are a lot more of high-profile personalities who are here to join this protest. But why are you here protesting today?
Master, I'm here because of Ken Ofori-Atta. Ken Ofori-Atta must come to answer questions. The reason why he collapsed GN Bank, because of Ken Ofori-Atta, some of us are suffering. Seriously.
When you say you are suffering, what do you mean by that?
Since 2019, there is no job for us to do. You understand? Now, since Ofori-Atta collapsed our company, our children, our household, everybody is suffering. Some of us are dead and gone. Now we need Ofori-Atta to come and then answer questions. As I'm talking to you, some of our benefits, because of Ofori-Atta, some of our benefits, negotiated benefit company, they have held some of our benefits. And stay with them. Now we are organizing ourselves to go and pick it there too, because they need to give us our money.
And I see him wearing a GN Bank attire, as a matter of fact. But Kemini, there are some individuals here, like I told you, high-profile individuals who have come today to join this protest. But before I even engage them briefly, let me get some sight and sounds indeed from what is happening in here, exactly how they are chanting. Just some few chants of what is happening here. All right, so Ken must come, but let me get some interviews and right now engage Solomon Owusu from the United Party to get his own thoughts as well on why he's choosing to join the protest today. Yesterday I didn't see you here. You are here today. What do you want? What is your interest?
It's very simple. Ken Ofori-Atta must come back to Ghana and help the state to unravel some of the mysteries surrounding the PDS, surrounding the National Cathedral, surrounding the SML and the DDEP. It's as simple as that. And any public official must have at the back of the mind that accountability is part of your life. And it's very simple. No one is saying that Ken is guilty. What we are saying is that he must come and answer the questions. If it's done, he can go back to the United States of America. And that will be fine.
But yesterday he was in court. The court heard his case and has been adjourned to 27th April. Don't you believe the processes have already kick-started over there?
The court is doing its job. We as Ghanaians are also doing our job. As citizens of this country that believes in accountability, we want to let the United States of America know that as a country that have been championing accountability and create the impression that they abolish corruption, they must be the last country to be standing in the way of Ghana in pursuing accountability. They must not allow their country to be used as a sanctuary for corruption and corrupt officials, especially coming from the sub-Saharan Africa.
No, so you believe that the U.S. authorities are being reluctant in ensuring the expeditious extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta? Is that what you are alluding to?
That is the impression that they are creating. That's why I'm saying that they must not create the impression that they are acting as a sanctuary for corrupt officials from Africa, because he came from Ghana. He did not apply to permanently live in the United States. He got to the United States of America before deciding to have a change of status. That tells you the mindset. Let him come back. Ghana is not a banana republic. After all, he was not the only minister under the Eswal administration. They had about 124 ministers. All of them are here. No one is being pursued. So what makes him so special?
All right.
He must come back.
He must come back. Coming in, let me just show you again. You realize that just about now, the protesters have moved to the other side of the road yet again, and that is just in front of the U.S. Embassy. This is what the police were trying to avoid, for which reason they mounted the barricades so that they do not cross to the other side. But right now, I see one of the members and conveners, Salom Jamado, leading them to more or less embark on this march right across the road to the other side of the road, just in front of the U.S. Embassy. And so that is the situation right now. That is the actual picture that we are painting and bringing to your attention. We will seek to get few more interactions with some of the individuals who have gathered here. But for some of these protesters, they tell me, and it is one thing, that even when you look at the proceedings and how things took place yesterday, it is only clear that it appears to them as though the U.S. authorities are not willing to ensure the extradition of Ken Ofori-Atta back into the country, and so they are continuing to mount this pressure on the U.S. authorities. They are continuing to make their grievances known. They are continuing to ensure that all that they desire, which is the return of Ken Ofori-Atta, is done and is achieved as soon as possible. Let me seek to also cross the road to join them over there to get some responses from them as well on what they make of this protest.
Very well, Christian, we'll end it here for now, but keep an eye on the situation there for us. Christian Yale joined us from the U.S. Embassy here in Accra. Let's bring you some politics now. The Electoral Commission will on March 3rd, 2026, hold the Ayawaso East constituency parliamentary by-election following recent demise of the MP for the area, Muhammad Nasir Toure, which has rendered the seat vacant. Under Article 112, Section 5 of the 1992 Constitution, the Electoral Commission is required to hold a by-election within 3 months after the Speaker of Parliament formally notifies it of a vacancy. Many of the constituents are pushing for the widow of the late MP, Hadia Amina Adam, to be considered as the party's candidate for the contest, while others are also supporting Baba Jamal, a legal practitioner and Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria, who has already declared his intention to run for the seat. Crosby Annan is deep inside the constituency, particularly in Nima, which is, the heartbeat of the Ayawaso East constituency, where he's going to engage constituents on this crucial by-election. Crosby, talk to us. What are you picking up?
Well, Kamini, welcome to Nima in the Ayawaso East constituency, the heartbeat of the constituency. And like you rightly mentioned, it's been a conversation to find a successor for the late Member of Parliament, Nasir Muhammad Toure, who unfortunately lost his life a while ago. Now, the constituency is predominantly an NDC constituency. It is an NDC stronghold. And after the NDC brought out regulations or timelines for this election. They are saying that the primaries will be held on the 7th of February. That's a few weeks away. So it means that conversations have intensified to look for who should replace the late Member of Parliament to represent the constituency in Parliament. It's been a conversation largely between three people, like you mentioned. Alhaji Baba Jamal has been mentioned. There's also Dr. Azindo. Now, these two people, they have been parliamentary aspirants before, but unfortunately, they lost to Alhaji Nasir Toure in the 2024 elections. The new name, however, is the wife of Alhaji Nasir Toure, and I'm talking about Hajia Amina Adam. She is the new name on the block, and people are tipping her that she is going to succeed her husband in Parliament. I've gathered a few constituents. Let's have a quick conversation with them and find out what will motivate them to choose a parliamentary candidate to face the NDC in the by-election that will happen on March 3. Let's speak with you. Thank you for joining us. Tell us your name.
My name is Zakia.
Your name is?
Zakia.
Zakia. So the NDC in the coming weeks will vote for a parliamentary candidate. What are you particularly looking out for?
For me, I wish and hope the late McNazar's wife will contest.
Is there a reason why?
Yes, because she's already a politician. It's not that we are now dragging her into politics. And she has the credibility. She's a woman. And for me, as a girl child, born and raised in Nima, she has given me more reason to further my education, for me to even know, as a woman that I am, I can be someone better as she is. I can be someone better than maybe as she is for now.
So that's the motivation.
Yes.
Okay, so you heard from her, but there are those who also say that some old names are already in the picture. Baba Jamal is in the picture, Dr. Azindo is in the picture. These are people who the constituency know and who know the constituency. What are you looking for to choose a parliamentary candidate?
First of all, thank you very much for your opportunity given to me. My name is Abdul Ganiu. I'm a branch hammer for Islamic Research branch in East Ayawaso constituency. The reason why I believe and I choose Hajia Amina to succeed the seat of a late husband is that she is a woman who knows much about the constituency, who knows what the constituency needs, and who can move the constituency forward as we want. Because my main question which I wanted to ask is, how can someone on earth who has been appointed to be in a position of His Excellency drop downwards to come and then contest as a member of parliament? This is a question that we need to ask each other.
So that's the reason why Baba Jamal is out of the picture for you?
He is out of the picture, and I believe it is one of the great things which I think the Zongo community needs to support. We have a member of parliament, we have a member in parliament who are Muslim, but when it comes to typically meaning Zongo community, to find someone who is a Zongo, I think this is a time for us to support, and that's the reason why I believe in her. I know what she can do for East Ayawaso and the entire Zongo community.
Let's see if we can get some diverse opinions. Who are you supporting, or who will you vote for in the primaries?
Okay, my name is Ofori-Atta Isaka. I'm going in for Hajia Amina, the late Honorable's wife.
Is there a reason why?
Yeah, because she's a strong woman, a visionary leader, and she's making more impact on the youth and women.
So these are the reasons why you're voting. But why are you not considering the other names? Are they not familiar to you?
No, they are not familiar to me. Hajia Amina is part of us. She's part of this community. She is from Zongo, and we need someone from Zongo. That's why I'm going in for her.
So far, it's been one way. Maybe we'll see if we'll get some other opinions. How about you? Who are you considering?
Straight, I'm going with Hajia.
I see. She's winning all the voting.
Yeah, she deserves it, my brother. She deserves it.
Why does she?
She supports the husband, which I'm aware of. Secondly, when the husband is not feeling fine, we campaign from national, region, up to constituency level. So imagine this, my brother. We don't want to do much. This is the thing that we have to give it to Ajia.
She's a new face. There are people you know already. There are people who have contested the primaries before. Baba Jamal has before. Dr. Zindo has before.
Why can't you go and contest at Kotia again?
He thinks he's part of you now. He wants to help the constituents.
Of course, Baba is part of us, but the delegates say they want Ajia. It's very simple. We don't hate Baba. He's a fantastic gentleman. I personally don't hate him, but we are going with Ajia. Maybe another time we can consider and go with Baba.
So it's not Baba Jamal's time yet.
No, it's not Baba Jamal's time yet.
Let's see if some other people will speak to us. Thank you for joining us. You're live on TV3. The NDC primaries, who are you tipping to win?
I'm tipping Haji Amina.
You're also tipping Haji?
I'm tipping Haji.
What is motivating you?
Because she knows the concern of the constituents. She knows what is the most important thing for us. Yeah, I think that's why I'm tipping Haji Amina. Yeah.
Thank you. So that's the opinion of another delegate here. Okay, you're live on TV3. Let's speak with you. Are you also voting for Haji on election day?
Yes, I'm a voter at Presby branch. I'm the secretary for Presby branch.
Is there a reason why you're voting for Haji?
Oh, she's a woman. Even when the husband is alive, this woman helped a lot in the community. She's a good woman in the every political activity that the husband done. This woman pushed the husband to do right thing for the people of Ayawaso East. So most of the delegates are calling to vote for the woman because she's a good woman in the community. She has done a lot for the community that we can't even explain to you.
When you say a lot, yes, what exactly do you mean? What is a lot?
In terms of a lot, helping the people of Ayawaso East. Even when the husband have a project, this woman will push for the project to be successful for the people of Ayawaso to benefit. In terms of education, she helped a lot in education. The vulnerable who doesn't have, she helped. For Ayawaso East to get good future, the youth should get a standard education in the community. She helped a lot. So we are going for a woman. We woman in politics. I'm assemblywoman for this electoral area, Nima East. Now that we are rejecting a woman, which signature are you showing we the women in politics? So meaning you are denying we the women in politics. So even in Quran, Nana Barkisu lead. So a woman can lead. So we are here supporting Ajia Amina to lead and continue the good work that the husband done in the community.
All right, thank you. I don't know about you. Are you also voting for Hajia? Don't you think Baba Jamal and Dr. Zindo, they can do a good job here?
I don't know much about them though, but I'm in for Ajia Amina.
What's motivating you?
Oh, she's a woman of substance. She's a very good woman. That's all I can say.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, Kemini, if you come to the Ayawaso East constituency so far, the opinions we've sampled, they're telling us that Hajia Amina Adam is the person they're voting for, is the person they want on the ticket of the NDC to go into the by-election on March 3. Already, the NDC says that the nomination forms are selling at 5,000 cedis and the filing fee is 40,000, but it will be discounted if the woman is contesting. So we'll see when the nominations open and when the day of the primary, the election day, February 7th, is just a few weeks away. And then after the primaries, quite very soon after that, the election will also be held. The main election will be held. And the Electoral Commission has set 9th and 11th February as the date for filing and submitting forms if you want to contest on any ticket here in the Ayawaso East constituency. That's it from me here at the Ayawaso East constituency. Kemini, back to you.
Crosby Yanan there with the latest from Nima in the Ayawaso East constituency. Now, he's mentioned some dates from the Electoral Commission. We know that the Ayawaso East constituency is largely a safe seat for the NDC, which is why we see a lot of action from there. 3 candidates are already putting their hats in the ring for the primary to be conducted by the NDC. Unconfirmed reports, former MCE of the area on the ticket of the NPP is also throwing her hat in the ring. We'll let you know how that goes. But let's talk about the NDC. These are the dates to remember. if you're interested in their primary. Opening of nominations Saturday, 24th January 2026 between 7 to 5 a.m. at the regional offices of the party. Submission of forms and then filing of nomination. Crosby's already given you the numbers. It's costing some 40,000 cedis to file, 20,000 for persons with disability and women. It's really more than the Electoral Commission is charging, because it's 10,000 for Electoral Commission filing fees, 7,500 for people with disability and women. So the other dates for filing, as far as the party is concerned, is Tuesday the 27th of January, 3 days after the open nomination. Tuesday the 27th of January, they will open for submission or filing of those nominations between the hours of 7 and 5, also at the regional offices of the NDC. Then they will vet. There will be appeals if need be. Right after that, there is no time. They have to work fast. So there's 28 January, the Wednesday, right after Tuesday. That process will take place. There is no time because two things are being done. Vetting, balloting, indeed three, vetting, balloting, and appeals, assuming someone is unhappy with the results that come out. That all of that will take place on the 28th of January 2026 at the regional offices of the party. The election itself, which will be the primary to elect one person for Ayawaso East constituency for the main election on March 3rd, will be on Saturday, the 7th of February 2026, between the hours of 9 and 4 p.m., and the venue is within the constituency. So those are the dates to note as far as the NDC's primary is concerned. And what we'll do now is we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more news. Remember, there's Regional Hub still ahead. Don't go ahead. Don't go. Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Kwele-Oklu has visited the scene of the fire outbreak at Circle VVIP bus terminal to assess the extent of damage and inspect efforts by NADMO to clear debris and restore order. She intimated that the cause of the fire has not yet been ascertained and assures traders who lost property of government's commitment to help them rebuild the area. Noura Mohammed reports.
Yesterday, we had a fire outbreak. I was here with NADMO. In fact, initially, I asked NADMO to take the lead to come and look at the place and then have some assessment and give us the feedback. And the cause of the fire is not yet known because we are still waiting for fire service to give us the feedback. And so there was a time we asked the assembly to decongest the place because we noticed that there's a lot of activities ongoing here. Yesterday when we came, we noticed there was a choba here. At the same time, they have drinking spots, and a whole lot of people sleep here, they use here as their abode. And so we noticed that some of them even have gas. Yesterday, they were able to retrieve more than 50 gas cylinders. And so we keep on asking, for how long are we going to sit to wait for this? Yesterday, I asked my market women, because at the end of the day, when we talk to them and they don't listen, we said, yes, this is where you do everything, you trade here till in the evening. We cannot prevent you from cooking here, but take precautions. After cooking, make sure that whatever fire, the fire you use, make sure that you off the gas, take off the cylinder head, and so that you can know that you are safe. We've asked the assemblies to take care of the debris, and that is exactly what they are doing. We are here to wait feedback from the fire service to know the cause of the fire, and then the affected victims, no matter what it is, the government is ready to support them.
Tamale MCE Alhaji Adam Abutakoro has begun a series of engagements with drivers and transport union leaders across key stations in the metropolis to ensure that recent reduction in fuel prices benefits commuters. The mayor, during the visit, appealed to drivers and union leaders, including the regional chairman and general secretary of the GPRTU, to reduce fares in response to lower fuel costs. He emphasized that fare adjustments would help ease the economic burden on workers, traders, students, and residents who rely on public transportation daily. Let's hit the ground now. Christopher Amwako is our correspondent there. Christopher, explain to us why this is important.
Yes, so Kemini, this is important because according to the mayor, his visit was to, as it were, engage the transport operators. We all know that fuel prices have come down, and so once fuel prices have come down, it is expected of the transport operators to also on the face of it, try to reduce transport fares so that it will ease the economic burden on passengers or commuters. And so he believes that it is not something that the metropolis or the assembly or authorities in the metropolis can force the transport operators to reduce their fares, but it takes engagement for them to reach a consensus and an understanding for them to be able to reduce the transport fares. Let's take a listen to the engagement he had with the transport operators.
As the fuel prices has reduced as well, and you still maintain this one for 4 years, at least. So even if you offer luxury services, at least some little bit of reduction should be realized in the current prices. So that is why we are here this afternoon, just to appeal to you to help us to help the people of Tamale, because they are complaining a lot. Most of them patronize your services, but their challenge is the price. And this price has made a lot of them to even switch to other companies, which they don't like it, because they would like to be with you people. So as a local authority leader, I'm here this morning just to plead to see how best you can adjust it upon your luxury services.
But I'll show you.
Chris, what was the response from the operators?
Yeah, so the operators are also arguing that before now, there was an MOU between government and these transport operators that if there is a reduction or upward adjustment of fuel prices and it's not up to 10%, then it means that it will not affect the transport operators. It means that they will not reduce or increase the prices depending on the percentages. And so they are still engaging with their superiors at the national level. As and when they are done with the engagement, if there is any need for them to reduce the prices, they will. They are also concerned about the economic burden that the prices of the lorry fares puts on commuters. And so they will also discuss with their superiors when they are done. If there is a need for a reduction in the transport fares, they will do so ASAP. Let's take a listen to what the Secretary of the Northern Region, GPRTU, has been saying.
But there is an understanding that was reached between transporters and the Minister of Transport. A memorandum of understanding was reached that whereby an increase in fuel does not reach up to 10%, no transport union or transporter should increase his or her fares. And also the same likewise, if it decreases up to 10%, there's no transport union who has to do that. So we are only waiting. But for now, I cannot calculate to find out the exact percentage that have been decreased. But I believe we have people on the ground who do that. They will advise by national leadership accordingly, so that if whatever advice that they give them, they will also invite the appropriate body, and then we'll meet to discuss and then take a final decision. The other issue is with regards to our spare parts. Spare parts is the same rates ever since the NDC took over. They have refused doing anything about it. But the last time we have decreased our fares, I can remember it was last year. In May, we came out, we reduced our fares by 15%. Last year, May, we came out, I believe you requested for it, I'll give a copy to the MC. So whenever, if there's a need for us to decrease the same, we'll do likewise.
Well, Chris, we'll end it here for now. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll now head for the Ashanti region, where the absence of a cath lab, a specialized unit where doctors diagnose and treat heart and blood vessel conditions using minimally invasive procedures at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, has long hindered effective cardiology treatment. In July of last year, a cardiologist at CAT, Dr. Kwame Ofori, was reported to have died after suffering a heart attack due to the unavailability of a cath lab at the facility. Efforts to transfer him to Accra were unsuccessful, a situation that drew national attention and highlighted significant gaps in the cardiac care infrastructure of this country. This development has compelled the government under the Mahama administration to commence construction of a cardiovascular center at CAS to improve specialized heart care services in the northern sector of the country. Ibrahim Abubakar is our correspondent in the region. He's joined us with a bit more on the story. Ibrahim, what else can you report about this development? Ibrahim, you'd have... Right, we can hear you now.
So, like we rightly mentioned, the cath lab is used to stabilize patients with serious cardiac condition and also even some stroke-related complications before there will be further treatment. But currently, aside from Kolebu Teaching Hospital, none of Ghana's teaching hospital has a functional cath lab. This means that patients who require such specialized care must be referred to Kolebu in Accra, often resulting in critical delays, like you rightly mentioned, about a cardiologist at Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital who lost his life. And at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, management says that the absence of this lab has contributed to a number of loss of life. These things are preventable death, and for that matter, they have to consistently inform government about it. So when this previous administration took office, they told the president, who under the medical trust fund decided that they will begin the construction of a cardiovascular center, which will include a fully cath lab to ensure that in terms of cardiology treatment in the country or in the northern part of Ghana, Komfo-Anokye were able to handle that. So this construction has begun, and we are told that within 4 months, this facility will be ready for the development. So today, at even a consultative forum for management and also some consultants and specialists, this issue even had to come up again, and they are hoping that this time around government will ensure they will go by their words and be able to provide this important facility to the hospital to be able to cater for the Northern Belt. We earlier spoke to the CEO of Komfo-Anokye and also a cardiologist at CAT. Let's listen to what they have been saying.
Lose a lot of people, and you see, heart attacks, strokes are no respecter of persons. We lost a colleague. They came here, it's something we could have managed, but we didn't have the resources. So when this center becomes operational, we're going to, if we were saving like 5 or 6, now we'll be able to save about 8, 9 out of 10 persons who will come to our facility.
Some work that's been done in Komfo-Anokye over the last 10 years shows that the heart attack issues or cardiac problems like this I have just mentioned has gone up by over 250 percentage points, so you can imagine that the numbers have gone up astronomically and very steeply. So the burden is there. What has been lacking, it's avenue to intervene. If we have such a facility here in Komfo-Anokye, we are sure that it's going to serve the majority of Ghanaians, from both far and.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for the reporting. Ibrahim Abubakar, Ashanti region correspondent, will stay outside the city of Accra because the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has wrapped up his 2-day thank you tour of the Western region in the Awowin municipality. The tour was to express appreciation to residents for voting for the party and bringing it into power, and to engage traditional leaders and grassroots supporters on government priorities. At each stop, the NDC chair reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthen the cocoa sector, complete road projects started by the previous administration, and finish stalled projects, including Agenda 111 hospital projects in Bodi district.
Ana mabo makura kakra meba no mafa ho no makohwe na aja masan eko enu nti kwa no ye ya yo so kwa no ye ya me so mi fa so bi enu nti ye beda mase se me betra ha mama be kwa na ene mu atra fefefe a oha obia emma efa madwuma kokọ adwuma me so me ye no ewo esanse ho. The chato, that is a branch for no woman, ye buy ye movie, and a crack a kite that no so. The beer over to say, at 2 force announce say, ye de casse, and the aquaco to an inano. As I say, oh, young show. If we say, about money be a man booked a canoe, ankasa sika edi tuatua ka kese no nyina kani nyina e bampuntu dwuma mu ama amanfo ho atɔ mu enti afia edi kai no ya yire ye ho se ye tuatua saa ka no afiri ho na di money a Ghana anya se ye yare nkadene o de ka wuntua no ye yi free ho na ni.
Away from that, 3 military officers and 16 civilians have been arrested in a major anti-drug operation by the IGP's Special Operations Team in the Tamale metropolis. The intelligence-led swoop forms part of renewed efforts by the police administration to clamp down on the circulation of narcotics and related crimes in the northern region.
The operation followed a courtesy call by the IGP Special Operations Team
on the management of the Tamale Technical University after an invitation from the Vice-Chancellor. Following the engagement, the team moved into full operational mode, embarking on intelligence-led patrols across crime-prone areas within the Tamale metropolis. At the waterworks area, 2 suspects were arrested for possession of narcotics, including substances suspected to be Indian hemp and a synthetic opioid identified as Rayo Forts. At the Abu market, 7 individuals were picked up for possessing quantities of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. Further arrests were made within the Kamina Barracks enclave, where 7 civilians were apprehended for possession of suspected Indian hemp and quantities of Kofes cough syrup, a substance often abused for its narcotic effects.
So you sell the Kofex to the people, the youth to buy?
That is the only thing I'm selling, sir. Yeah.
You sell only the Kofex to them?
Only I don't have anything other thing I sell.
And how long have you been doing it?
It's just last month I started, just December, yes.
In the same operation, 3 individuals who identified themselves as military personnel were also arrested for possession and use of suspected Indian hemp. After verification confirmed their status as military officers, the suspects were handed over to the Regional Military Police Command for further action in line with the Police Service Instructions 167, which outlines procedures for handling service personnel implicated in criminal activities. All 16 civilian suspects are currently in police custody at the Sakasaka Police Station, assisting with investigations. Exhibits retrieved during the operation have been secured for forensic examination and evidential purposes. Police say the operation has significantly disrupted the distribution of illicit drugs within the Tamale metropolis, reinforcing public confidence in ongoing security efforts. The IGP Special Operations Team has reaffirmed its commitment to sustaining intelligence-driven interventions to ensure safety and security across the northern region.
We'll be right back. Chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Alfred Oko-Vanderpoel, has rubbished calls by the Minority Caucus demanding removal of Samuel Kujitu-Ablakwa over what they claim is his repeated diplomatic missteps that have left Ghana exposed internationally, particularly over the recent U.S. visa policy affecting Ghanaian citizens.
Statement, there were 2 focus areas. The issue about US and 75 countries about immigrant visa processing, and the issue about ORA, the alleged 21 billion that could be recovered through the ORA activities. Gentlemen of the press, when we think of the issue about the U.S. immigrant visas, U.S. has made a decision that includes Ghana on immigrant visas, 75 countries. So why would my deputy ranking member conclude that Ghana is affected because of the activities of the Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable Abraba? I mean, where is that coming from?
This is a decision by the US, by the President of the United States. How do we hold our minister, Foreign Affairs Minister, responsible for that decision? This is a Foreign Affairs Minister who has been very active on the international front with our partners on issues about creating jobs, attracting investors to this country. Myself, I have joined him. We went to China, we went to other countries about attracting investors into this country. And it's bearing fruit. It's yielding results. And so if US have made a decision on immigrant visa, we cannot hold our Foreign Affairs Minister responsible for that.
That's it on News Central this hour. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Kamini Amano, and I will see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.